there's nothing like being in Jerusalem for Easter.
Welcome to the Garden Tomb. We're so glad that you could join us. My name is Joy, and I'll be your tour guide for the day.
Wow, so this is where Jesus was buried and rose again?
We believe so. The Gospel of John says, at the place where Jesus was crucified, there was a garden. In the garden, the Bible also says there was a tomb. But in the garden tomb, what we stress is not so much about the place, but about the person. Over the years, we've been telling the story of the empty tomb, which was passed down to us by word of mouth. Would you like to hear more about it?
Yes.
Please follow me this way. This is the perfect place to reflect on the resurrection story.
Come on.
I hear you. You already said that yesterday. It's not like he's family. I never knew him.
Well, you should have taken the time to listen to him, to get to know him.
You said that yesterday.
But it's too late now. He's gone.
You said that too yesterday. Perhaps I should have taken some time to meet him, but I didn't. You're right. It's too late, and there's nothing that can be done about it.
That holy man was treated like a common thief, up there between a pair of thugs, never hurt nobody. Makes my blood boil when I think about it. Well, he's at rest now. He'll be greatly missed.
Not by the religious lot. Ha! I'll hand that to him. He knew how to stir them up. They won't miss him.
Maybe not, but us ordinary people will miss him. I guess that's the end of healings, his wonderful teachings, and miracles.
If you don't stop chatting, I'll need a miracle to get to work on time.
You know, I never gave the garden much thought while reading the resurrection story in the Bible.
You're right, and not many people do. That's why in the garden tomb, we stress his role when telling the story. After all, it took a gardener to keep this place nice and tidy.
So what happened next?
Well, Roman soldiers were sent to guard the tomb.
Linus would have been wearing his tunic all night in the dark guarding a tomb. Bet he was scared a ghost would get him. I could just imagine him, sucking on his thumb and whimpering for his mama. Oh, mama, I'm so scared.
Give it a rest.
Oh, mama, I want my cuddly rug.
Does this mean that Jesus' disciples couldn't visit his tomb?
No, not at all. In fact, some brave women went to the tomb to anoint Jesus' body with the spices they had bought.
I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I could see him hanging there on the cross, the blood dripping down from his face from all those cuts on his head. Terrible, terrible.
Mary, please, we were there. Do you think we can forget it?
How could this have happened? He was still young, and there was so much left to do. I'm sure he didn't want to leave us.
But yet, he seemed to know exactly what was happening and walked straight into it. Almost recklessly, but knowing?
I heard Peter drew a sword.
Yes, young Mark told me.
But Jesus said to put it away.
He had taken the chance to escape, but instead he walked right into the trap on purpose.
Like an innocent lamb to slaughter.
Could we have seen it coming? Could we have helped?
I don't know. What had he said?
Peter said at the Passover meal he had broken some bread and said this was his body, and poured out some wine and said this was his blood.
Yes, that's it. And John said he talked of going to his Father, and something like, in a little while you will see me no more, and then after a little while you will see me.
Yes, that sounds like our Lord. I did not always understand what Jesus was saying.
I will miss him so much.
We all will.
What did he mean, after a little while you will see me again?
How are they going to roll away the stone from the entrance of the tomb?
The women asked themselves the same question. There was a violent earthquake. An angel came down from heaven, and going to the tomb, he rolled back the stone and stood beside it.
What was that?
So bright I could hardly see.
What will Pilate say when we tell him the tomb is empty?
We don't tell him.
We have to tell him. He'll find out sooner or later. The stone's rolled away. Any idiot can see the tomb's empty.
There has to be a logical explanation for this. How on earth did that stone move?
Felt like an earthquake to me. That should do it.
Yes, but what about the body?
A shiny man. There was a shiny man.
He's out cold again.
I guess he'll be sobbing for his mama soon.
Who took the body?
Maybe there's a back exit.
In a tomb? What are you talking about? We all know there wasn't.
Well, how should I know? The body's gone. How it disappeared isn't important. What's important is the trouble going to be in with it gone.
Yeah, it'll be us nailed on that tree tomorrow.
Come on, let's get it over with. Before we get in even more trouble for not reporting it immediately.
But what do we say? There was an earthquake, and the stone was rolled away by some shiny man, and the tomb is empty?
No one will believe it. But what can we say that doesn't put the blame on us?
Right, we have to report back. Let's get this over with. Pick up that lad who thinks he's a soldier. Lift, right foot forward, and march.
I can't believe those soldiers.
Me too. But they weren't the only ones that tried to shake off the idea of the resurrection.
What do you mean?
Hey, old man. Who do you think you are calling me an old man?
I am from the temple. The priest sent me.
I can see you're from the temple. What do you want?
Where's that tomb they laid that man in?
Which man?
That one, the last one, and caused so much trouble?
I'm not sure who you're talking about.
Must you make me say it? They called him Jesus?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not sure who you meant. You're not like those others who laid his body in the tomb. Are you his friend?
Friend? No, I'm not. The priests want me to check the tomb. Apparently this Jesus said he would rise up from the dead or something. Impossible, of course. I bet his own disciples would try to steal the body if they could. That's what the priests say.
Why are you so angry?
He is responsible for stirring up the people.
I heard he was a healer and a kind man.
A troublemaker. Caused people to question the priest. Oh, maybe not to their faces, but the crowds began to whisper. And the moment he dies on the cross, the ground shakes and the sky goes dark and the temple curtain rips from top to bottom.
So what?
It's the curtain that separates the common people from the most holy place, as if just anyone can come before the throne of God.
Maybe that's what Jesus wanted.
Blasphemer.
Calm down, boy. You'll give yourself a heart attack in a minute, and I'll have to bury you.
I want to see the tomb.
You could see the tomb, but I don't think you'll see the body.
Of course I can't see the body. The stone will be in the way. He'll be right by now anyway.
Oh, off you go then. Follow the path down that way. It's right at the end. You can't miss it.
Let me guess. He didn't find the body of Jesus?
You're right. But it was very hard to explain the missing body to the authorities.
The body, it's gone?
Yes, sir.
Where's it gone?
No idea.
What do you mean you have no idea? You were guarding all night. Did you fall asleep?
I don't want anyone saying I was asleep on duty, sir.
Keep your voice down.
Linus and I were awake all night. It was quiet, no problems. Then, as we were about to change guards at dawn, a deep rumble came from the ground, I think, and the stone in front of the tomb moved.
The stone moved?
And a sort of man, shiny, kind of glowing, or maybe he was just wearing very white clothes.
Go on.
He, I think, rolled the stone away. Anyways, he stood beside it.
What about the body?
Well, we were all petrified about the young soldier who had fainted.
And then?
And when we got over the shock, the man-thing had disappeared. Linus looked into the tomb, and nothing was there.
Nothing?
Just the linen the body had been wrapped in.
Could the body have been stolen while you're distracted by this tall man?
No, sir. Linus and I were guarding all night. There's no way anything could have got past us without us noticing.
No one else around?
Well, 2 women appeared shortly after. They seemed very upset that the tomb was empty. Confused and upset they were.
Then what happened?
We picked up the young soldier who had fainted with fear and hightailed out of there. Got back to base as quickly as possible to report the missing body.
What did they say when you reported it?
They told us to keep our mouths shut. Paid us, in fact. The official line is that his followers stole the body.
But it wasn't.
No, sir. The body has simply vanished.
Looking at the empty tomb today, I know that Jesus' body didn't vanish. Jesus is alive.
Yes, and that's what Mary Magdalene also discovered when she visited the guarding tomb that morning.
Oh, I thought it was you. My eyes were blurry from crying so much I could hardly see where I was going.
Thought it was me.
How could I think he was the gardener?
Who?
It was him. I could hardly believe it, but it was him. I burst out, "Teacher!"
Any point me asking who?
He said to tell the others. I must go now. Peter, John, James, the others, they all need to know. He said he's returning to his Father and our Father, to his God and our God.
Who?
Why, Jesus, of course.
Hey, who are you?
Gardener, sir.
You know whose tombs these are?
Many of them.
Relax, man. Just chatting. You're eating? Continue. I don't wish to disturb you.
Are you looking for your guards? They left a while ago.
No. That's not what I'm looking for.
The one they guarded?
Well, I'm not here officially.
He's gone.
So I heard. Do you know what happened? I've seen him before. Oh no, not at the crucifixion. I was on duty elsewhere that day. I saw him much earlier. May I sit?
Some sort of joke, huh? There's nothing down that path except an empty tomb with bits of cloth in it. If you don't tell me right now where he's buried, I'll report you to the council.
Young man, would you like to feel the cold steel of my sword? As I was saying, I saw this Jesus some time ago. Let me explain. I have this servant. He's been with me ever since we were boys. We're as close as brothers. Where I go, he goes. Anyways, he became very ill and near death, and nothing seemed to help him. My Jewish friends agreed to go see Jesus for me and asked if he could heal him.
Did he come to your home?
Oh no, and poor a man like that? Goodness, we were not worthy. I knew how busy he was.
So what happened?
I sent a message to him that he not actually come, just have him say the word.
That was having faith in him.
I had seen him with the people before. What he was doing, the healing of the sick, the miracles, and the teaching, a true leader. He had an air of authority about him. A man does not learn that, he is born with it. A man who can lead the hearts of men with a whisper, not a shout. A look, not a raised fist. That is the cloak of a true leader. His word was enough.
And what about your servant?
Healed completely.
Wow.
I've continued keeping an eye on this Jesus since then. You'd hardly believe the amazing things he has done. But I was not surprised to see him brought before Pilate. I could see it coming. He was upsetting so many of the religious leaders. The end was inevitable.
So what about the empty tomb? Was that inevitable?
Well, I'm not sure about that one. I'd like to see the tomb for myself. If you could point the way. Thank you.
A woman said she had seen him.
What?
Alive, this morning.
Jesus? Alive? If that is true, he really must be the Son of God.
Jesus really is the Son of God.
Yes, there's just no other way to explain the empty tomb. And that's what many people have come to believe after walking away from here. The gardener certainly did.
Can you please show us where they have laid the body of the little called Jesus?
You too, eh?
We can't believe he is gone.
Oh, he's gone, all right.
Such an inspiring man. We wish to see where they have laid his body.
Well, now that could be a little difficult. But I can show you where his tomb is. Follow the path down that way. It's right at the end.
Thank you.
How are you getting with his tomb? Finished?
Finished? I haven't even started. Only a fool would tend an empty tomb.
What are you talking about?
He's alive.
He's alive?
He's alive, and he's got everyone stirred up all over again. And you know what? I'm not missing a second chance to get to know this Jesus of yours. Let's go!
Jesus is alive! Hey, wait for me!
Thank you for the tour around the garden tomb today, Joy. It has truly been the highlight of my trip.
You're very welcome. What we want people to take away is that the tomb is empty, that Jesus is alive. The Easter weekend is the weekend that changed the world. The weekend that Jesus died, was buried, and rose again for me and you. Well, enjoy the rest of your trip. Happy resurrection.
Happy resurrection.
Hallelujah.